What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 14, episode 2, and this episode is titled The Icing on the Brain Cake, you guys. Now, before we get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I'll need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and have me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications. And with that out of the way, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, shall we? All right, you guys. So I want to preface this one more time because I know I did it last week, and we're gonna do it again this week. So, with the Real Housewives in New Jersey, I want to make it well known that I am not a Teresa fan and I am not a Melissa fan. I do, however, like Margaret, but I have no problems with saying whenever I feel Margaret is wrong. So, if you can get with that, then we fine over here. Like, we ain't gonna have no problems. I just needed to be respectful in the comment section going forward because, yeah, I don't want to. I don't want any disrespect on the channel. These are my personal opinions, and if you agree with them, cool. If you disagree with them, that's fine as well, right? But I do want it to be respectful over here. That's all I'm asking for you guys is respect. But this episode. Actually, before we even start up with the episode, I want to talk about real quickly the interview that I listened to last week from Melissa's Old Nose, the Twitter account. The woman's name, I believe, is Gabriella. So, yeah, I did want to discuss that and give my thoughts and my opinions about that. My honest opinion and thoughts are, it's something that I've always felt when it comes to the housewives that they all do have, some of them, not all of them. I have thought that some of them probably do have these stand accounts that they, you know, give money to do, get them to get Rala behind them to defend them on social media. And I really more so specifically feel it for the ones who have this deep rooted hatred and animosity towards any of the women on the show that they don't know. Like how people, I feel like some people, I don't know who I would say would be behind the ones on Potomac that go after Candace incessantly. But I feel like, sometimes I feel like they probably have conversations with their favorites and they tell them to say they feed them things. I feel the same way on Beverly Hills, like how, people go after Garcelle incessantly. I feel it with quite a few of the housewives, but that's my 2 cents on it. I do believe what that lady said about Teresa and Jennifer. I do believe that they, were feeding her information. I do believe that, there were things going on behind the scenes and, giving them things like giving them screeners and so that they could be ahead of the episode and already have planned out what they want to say about Melissa, Margaret, Rachel, whoever, right? I do believe it. Also what I will say is it's very interesting when you think about someone who is like I would think that people who are in their teens and early 20s would be easily manipulated, right? You wouldn't expect that from someone who's a grown adult. You just wouldn't expect that, but it happens, right? It happens. I still find it quite odd. For me personally, I just find that odd that people would go up so much for a person that they don't really know and then have a one-sided beef with someone else that they don't know. Like I find that incredibly odd. That's just my personal opinions. You guys can feel free to agree, disagree. It's nothing personal if you disagree with me. But that's my opinion. Uh, but yeah, like I said, I can believe some of the stuff I can believe what she was saying. I just think that is incredibly, incredibly odd, and I don't understand why anybody like. I think it's odd, and I don't know why anybody would do it, especially when you don't know these people. You may have a relationship with Teresa. You may have a relationship with Jennifer, but you don't know the rest of the women. So I just I still, like I said, I find it rather odd. But again, these are my opinions. You guys can tell me what you think about this, but yeah, I just think it's a little interesting. It was interesting, very much so interesting. But let's go ahead and get into this episode, you guys. Leaving this episode, I feel a way about Jen Fessler. Felt the way about it last week, but I really feel a way about it this week. Really feel a way about Jen Fessler leaving this week's episode. But let's go ahead and start this review up. And I think I'll start it with Teresa. So with Teresa, we see Teresa and Louis. Every time I see Louis, that man, his face is just red like a lobster's. Like, my God. And I just get sick of seeing his face on the television screen sometimes. It's just like, what are we doing and why is he here? So Teresa and Louis, they're going to an event that is going to celebrate. Did she say? I think she was talking about his dad. His dad being 8 years sober. So congratulations to him on that milestone. Now, Teresa lost me because at one point she was talking about Margaret. So there's something going on with she and Margaret. It's a legal thing and she can't talk about it. But in her interview, she's talking about the fact that she can't wait for, everybody to see what a liar Margaret is. And I was just thinking to myself, like, Pot, please meet the kettle because Teresa, you're a liar as well. Like, if you want to call Margaret a liar, you got to look in the mirror and say, I'm a liar too. And to anybody, if you like Teresa, like I said last week, if you like Teresa, that is fine. That is cool. If you disagree with what I said about Teresa, that is fine. That is cool. You can leave it down in the comment section. But I don't want to go back and forth about it. But I do feel like she should literally take a look in the mirror at herself and realize you're a liar as well, Teresa. Like, let's stop playing that game. Like, you lie just as much as Margaret do. Also, let's say congratulations to Gia. So Gia graduated from Rutgers with her criminal justice degree. She's working in corporate law and she's getting ready to take her LSATs. She doesn't know what field of law she wants to go in, but Teresa was talking about immigration law after what happened with her dad. Um, I'm gonna say something that might be unpopular, but it's my opinion. And again, you can agree or disagree. It's fine, whichever way you go, right? I get her wanting to go into immigration because of what happened with her dad, but let's also be real and honest about the situation with Joe. Joe wouldn't have got deported if Joe hadn't committed a crime. Like, if you commit a crime, you do the time, and then in his case, he did the time. Once he got out of prison, he had to be deported back to Italy. So, not really. I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it. I do. But that is something that Joe did, like with Teresa. And I feel like with Teresa has taken no accountability for what happened. She always blames other people. But that's the problem with Teresa. So Teresa is also having a spa day. So she's invited Danielle and Jennifer over, right? One thing I'm gonna say is I'm already sick of hearing the double-sided dildo comment. Like, okay, if that man likes that and his wife is okay with it, why are y'all making a dig at it? If it's something he enjoys, that is something that he enjoys. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Like, Teresa, let's talk about that weird. What was that weird thing that Louis was doing? Like, speak on that. Speak on that weird cultish looking thing that Louis was doing. But I doubt you will, right? So Danielle is going to be having a celebration of life party for Nate, right? So they're going to the where are they going? They're going to the Jersey Shore, right? So Danielle is telling Teresa that she's going to be staying with Rachel, and Teresa told her that she's cool with it. I have no Teresa seems like she's cool with it. I don't. We'll see if it comes up later. If it does, I'm hoping it doesn't. But Teresa says she's cool with it. So if Teresa's cool with it, I'm cool with it. We'll pause and well, we ain't gonna pause, but we're gonna keep on going, you guys. Next up, we got Melissa. Melissa. We didn't have much with Melissa seen in this episode. They're celebrating Antonia's 18th birthday. Joe was talking about the fact that Melissa got pregnant 2 months after they got married. Melissa, you didn't know the saying because she kept saying something. She couldn't say the saying, sow your wild oats. She couldn't get that saying out. And I was so confused why she couldn't get it out. And then she don't even know what the saying means. I was like, oh wow, so you're gonna say something to your daughter, but you don't know what the saying means. Okay. Okie dokie, Melissa. But isn't that a sexual reference, sowing your wild oats? Okay, Melissa, girl. Because when she said it, I was like, you don't know what that means. But okay, go off. So her cousin, he and his fiance were there, and so they're getting married, and Joe was going to officiate the wedding. Listening to Joe in the backseat of that car when they got to Jersey, I hope he brushes up on that because it was terrible. It was terrible. But we'll see. Hopefully. Good luck, Joe. That's all I got to say to you. Good luck, buddy. Good luck to you. So now we're going to move over to Dolores. Huh. What do I want to say about Dolores? I do like Dolores, right? And I do like Dolores. When it comes to Dolores, my issue with Dolores is the fact that I don't really think that Dolores is in the middle because she never ever calls out her her best friend Teresa. She never says anything to Teresa, so I don't really feel like you're in the middle. I don't. Now we see Dolores. So Dolores is doing her CE for her real estate license, right? Because she wants to go back into doing real estate, and she wants to do it with Polly because she says that Polly has a good eye. Mm, 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 mm. Like I said last, because I was about to say he might have a good eye, right? I'm gonna leave it at this. If Dolores is happy with Polly, then it is what it is. I do want to say about Dolores, I hope that Dolores isn't, I really hope that she isn't expecting marriage from Polly because I just don't think that Polly is getting a divorce from his ex wife. It's been 10 years. Yes, I know divorces take a long time, but my God, 10 years, you either shit or get out the pot. And I don't think Paulie is ready to get out that pot. And even if he does divorce his wife, I don't see him getting down on one knee and proposing to Dolores the day after, right? But if she likes it, I love it, right? So Dolores is also telling him about this celebration of life party that Danielle is having for Nate, right? She did briefly mention the situation with him and John Fuda from last week's episode. And, you know, here's my thing about last week's episode, right? I got what both John and Paulie were saying. I do feel like with Paulie could have just kept his 2 cents to himself because it really doesn't have anything to do with Paulie. I just wish he kind of kept his 2 cents to himself. That's my personal opinion. Um, that's really it for Dolores. Like I said, it wasn't much with Dolores in this episode. This crazy thing is, this felt like a filler episode, and this is just episode 2 because everything really happened towards the end of the episode, and we'll talk about it once we get to it. So we'll move on to the next person, you guys. And who is the next person? Next up, we'll talk about Danielle real quick, right? So we see Danielle. So Danielle and her family, they are doing headshots for her daughter, right? And she also let Nate know that she's going to be participating in New York Fashion Week, which that is a big accomplishment. So congratulations to Danielle for that one, right? So Danielle is talking about this celebration of life party that she's having because Nate had surgery. I forgot, did she say 6 years ago? And so she's celebrating him still being alive, right? We also found out that Danielle and her mom, they're communicating with each other, but with her father, she's basically cut her father off because of the situation between she and her brother. It's so interesting looking at Danielle and the fact that she is having issues with her brother. I don't know if Teresa doesn't see the writings on the wall or not, but Teresa, you are looking at your replacement. You're absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, looking at your replacement. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm shocked they didn't do it this season, but I would be shocked if they don't do it at some point while Danielle's on this show. Bring her brother and her sister-in-law on this damn show. And that would I don't but I still don't think that Teresa would see the writings clearly because the writings are on the wall when it comes, like, I feel like Danielle and Rachel Fuda are replacements for certain people. That's my opinion. You guys can agree or disagree. It is what it is, right? I did like the fact that with Danielle, she said that when she doesn't speak to her father, but she didn't want to come in between the relationship that her father has with Nate and her kids. And that's cool, right? I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could do it, especially if my parents are disrespecting me. I don't necessarily know if I would want my children around that. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think and feel about that in the comment section and in the live chat. And we will go ahead and move on to the next person, you guys. And the next person, I'm going to incorporate some other things in with her. So next up, we got Margaret, you guys. So we see Margaret. So she, Melissa, and Rachel, they went to go play pickleball, right? And Rachel is talking about her rheumatoid. I think she has rheumatoid arthritis, and she had a hip replacement. I was like, wow, you're very young, but your body, if it needs to be done, it needs to be done, right? So Melissa also talked about the fact that her mom had fallen and hurt herself. So she's gonna be, because they're going to the Jersey Shore, right? And it's for a celebration of life party for Nate. So during the daytime, because it's Joey's birthday, Melissa's gonna have a daytime party, right? And that's when Rachel told them that Danielle and Jen Fessler are going to be staying with her. So then we got into the whole comment about what happened at Jen Fessler's party with Teresa, Rachel, and John, right? And so the whole pharmaceutical dealer comment came up, right? And Rachel says that John got caught when he was, I think she said 17 years old, selling pot. So it's not like it's something that he's been doing for a career. And with Teresa, I'm gonna say this right here, and we'll come back to it a little bit later. But with Teresa, Teresa absolutely brought that up. Everything that Teresa said at that party to him and on camera was a dig to him now, not past, not it was present tense. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. I also agree with Rachel when she talks about the fact that Teresa got out of prison and she hasn't changed. I was like, she really hasn't changed at all. Teresa is the same person who, when she went into prison, that she is now. She lacks any kind of accountability, and I can't stand a person. Oh, excuse me. I can't stand a person who can't take accountability for anything that they say or do. That is one of my biggest issues with Teresa. And again, I'm going to say this loudly and clearly. If you like Teresa, that is fine. We can always agree to disagree. I don't, I'm not going to go back and forth about Teresa and how I feel about Teresa. I don't see it for Teresa. That is it. That is all. So we get down to the Jersey Shore, right? And so we get, I thought it was so, I find this funny every time somebody asks about Bill Aiden. So Bill is supposed to be, he's not coming right away. He didn't come with them, but because Jennifer says he was in surgery and that he's going to be coming after the surgery, but she believes that he's going to be coming and the party will be over. You know what? If Jennifer likes it, I love it. And it got nothing to do with me. That is her life. That is her marriage. She gonna do what's best for her and her marriage. I really think that she should divorce because again, I just don't think that your husband don't like you. Like your husband does not like you, but that's neither here nor there. That is her life to live, and it is what it is, right? So let's get into the thing that I thought was like really weird in this scene with this party. So when Teresa, Jennifer Aiden, and Dolores showed up, Jen Fessler and her sister got up to greet Teresa. Now I'm gonna say this for I'm gonna say this like very loudly and clearly. I don't have a problem with the fact that she went up and spoke to Teresa. That is cool. If you want to speak to her, be cordial with her, that's one thing, right? But it seems as if you're flipping on your friends. These are my opinions. Agree, disagree, respectfully disagree, right? So I don't like at one point Rachel Fuda was talking to Jen Fessler and she was basically saying it to her like she doesn't understand why Jen wants to be friends with Teresa. And I don't get it either. Here's my thing when it comes to being friends with Teresa, right? It's cool to want to be friends with her, but you see how she treats people. When she falls out with you, she goes below the belt and she's a dirty fighter. Why would you like for me personally, I would never want to be friends with somebody like that. And then the stuff that she did to Mark, like what Louis did to Margaret and her son, that alone, I'm not gonna rock with you. Because if you can defend that and Margaret is saying that she has proof that he did it, then me and you ain't got nothing to talk about. Like that's like if somebody did that to any of my friends, they say, "Oh, this person did this and this and this to my child." I'm like, you know what? I can speak to that person. I can be cool. I can be cordial with that person, but we ain't never got to be friends because if they could do something that grimy to you, then what would they do to me? So I'm gonna stick right beside you, and I'm not, and so I'm not saying pick a side. Like I said, you can be cordial with the person, but know who you're dealing with. And that's my problem with Jen Fessler. It's like you're not heeding the warning signs when it comes to Teresa. But hey, if she want to be friends with Teresa, that's fine. That's fine, right? So Teresa pulling Jen to the side and they had a conversation, right? So in this conversation, Teresa is asking Jen Fessler about what happened at Margaret's house before the reunion last year. So she did tell her they all got together. So what it sounds like was it wasn't like a takedown. More so, it was like if Louis said this to them, they were gonna have a rebuttal to this. Like they were gonna have things that they would come back to him about. And I guess they didn't execute it the way that they had planned it at Margaret's house. So then Jen Fessler is asking her about the stuff with Louis calling Margaret's son. And Teresa says, "No, he didn't do that." And she sworn her four daughters. I was like, "You don't know for a fact that he didn't. You don't know for a fact that he did or didn't do it." And I'd be damned if I was swearing on my kids for the likes of a Louis. I wouldn't do nothing like that. But Teresa did it, and I just found it quite odd that she did it. So then they talk about the whole John Fuda being a pharmaceutical dealer, right? And Teresa says she was saying Jen Fessler was asking her, so did you mean that like they thought that you meant that currently and not, but you meant it past tense. Teresa says, yeah, I didn't mean it now. I didn't mean that now. Yes, you did, Teresa. Be honest and say, yeah. When I call him a pharmaceutical dealer, I was taking a dig at him like you're currently doing it. Like you gonna say, I heard you used to be a pharmaceutical dealer. You said it as if it is present tense. Because Teresa's like, I just see him as a good family man. Teresa, you're lying. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. Again, I'm gonna repeat this before I get off of here. If you like Teresa, that is fine. We can agree to disagree when it comes to Teresa. But listening to Teresa in that scene with Jen Fessler, the woman was lying through her teeth. Like, period, point blank, especially about the comment to John Fuda. That woman was lying. Like, I don't care how you slice it, dice it. She meant it as a current dig to that man. It was not a past tense dig at all. So Teresa, you can miss me with the BS with that one. But that is it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video, you guys. Until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed. And I'll see you guys for the next video, which is going to be Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. And I will catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your day, you guys. Bye.